right, and we had a lot of mothers. Your mama and everybody else's mama took
and
care.
grandmothers too.
You know,
So
everybody watched over everybody. Like they said, it takes a village to raise children. It does.
yeah,
It really does take a village. But I'm glad you guys have me here, and I'm glad I can come and share.
Oh, it's that time. It's that time. Welcome. Good evening. It's Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. People to people, power to power, positive thinking people. As I will always say, God is good. I'm excited about my guest that I have in today. We have Miss Kim Thornton. Did I pronounce that right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Miss Kim is a native of Old Town Alexandria, and this young lady just has so much to talk about, so much to share. But what's really got me so excited and so proud of her for is the fact that she has taken and started to take her skills and write books. And so, and many of us need to be able to release this through writing and things of such, or if you have other skills. So I find that to just be so amazing. So, everyone just tuning in, I first want to send peace and blessings to you and let you know that God is good, and we always try to put God first.
And keep God first.
That's for sure. And on top of that, before I get going, normally we would do birthday wishes and things of that nature. We didn't get a chance to do that. So if it's anyone having a birthday today, we send you a happy birthday wish. If you're having an anniversary, continue to keep God first in your relationship, and send peace and blessings to both of you. Also, you're going to notice I got to put this out. I got on some new glasses. So I went and got my new glasses today. So we're going to see how things be happening now. They're progressive, so I got to learn how to adjust with them, but I'm excited because I was struggling, but God is good. So how you been doing, Kim?
I've been doing good. Just been doing good. I try every day to, start my day off praying and asking God to watch over everybody, because everybody needs God in their life, and there are some people that don't understand why they need God in their life, and them the people I pray for the most. So with that being said, I'm just great.
Well, most of us that have been moving forward, we've been finding out that you can't do nothing without God.
That's a fact.
And we was talking prior to us coming on the air about how it was back when we were growing up. And so a lot of us know that grew up in Old Town Alexandria, everybody was family.
Everybody.
From Cameron Valley to Delray to the South Side to the Bird. I mean, uptown, downtown.
Yes,
everybody knew everybody. And our parents was everybody's parents.
That's right. That's the village.
That was the village.
That was the village.
And back in the day, things was a little different.
Yeah.
So before we really get into talking about your books and things, you also mentioned, we were talking a little bit about this incident that took place.
Yeah, the incident in D.C. Now, when I saw it, someone sent me the text. And when they sent me the text, I looked at the text and I was trying to figure out, well, what is all of this stuff on the ground? And it was like 250 bottles of liquor. So I got to thinking, when can you put 250 bottles of liquor and 700 people together and expect something different to come up? What did they expect was going to happen?
Well, that's part of the thing where we got to start to take responsibility, because we allowed these things to happen.
Exactly.
See, as parents, we got to step out and say, and it don't matter how old your child is,
Right.
where are you going? Because back when we was growing up, when we going out the door, our parents want to know where we going.
They knew, because you wasn't going if they didn't know.
and then if they didn't know, the parents knew that your parent, they would call them and say, Rodney's over here acting a fool.
Right. Right.
Okay.
You always had eyes on you at all times. And that was the thing. And when I saw the pictures of the crowd over DC running while these people were shooting, it was like a lot of grown-ups, and some of them was grabbing kids' hands, and I didn't understand why would you take an 8-year-old to a block party that's having liquor.
Right.
So my kid, my daughter, could not even be out of my sight like that under no circumstances. There's too much going on in the world to leave your kids, or for you to take your kids, because anything could happen and you get separated.
Well, one of the things that because my mind is all over the place right now, and when I say all over the place, I got so much that I want to share. One of the things we have to do as individuals, and this is not just with your child, but this is with other people's children as well. We got to learn how to mentor to them.
I agree.
We got to start talking to them about these things that make a difference in their life.
But you know what the problem with that is? A lot of the people our age, we knew how it was when we came up,
Mm-hmm.
and we see the generation that's coming up now. Not to say that we did a bad job, when we were coming up, because you're supposed to pass it along as you move on. But some of these kids are so, respect don't exist.
Well,
it don't exist.
They
so
they
you're
don't
scared
know
to approach them.
Yes.
Me, honey, let me see you for a minute. And I'll nicely tell them, listen, there's a better way to do that.
Yes.
And they'll roll their eyes and all that. I say, I used to be like that at one time.
Right.
And let me tell you what happened to me. And then I tell them my story, whether they want to hear it or not. And they be listening, and they like, really?
Yeah.
So I know I've said in the first 2 minutes grabbed their attention. So now I have their attention. So I have a chance to speak to them. And that's the chance that we as an adult have to try with these kids. You got to try to get their attention, one way or the other.
Well, one of my friends from Baltimore, Frank Johnson, he said, stop trying to talk to the kids and judge them.
Mm-hmm.
He said, first of all, you got to go to them.
Right.
He said, and when you go to them, then what you're going to do is bring them to you.
Right.
And you got to meet them halfway. So basically, what he was saying is, don't be so judgmental and beat them down.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hear what they're trying to say. Somebody else had put that out, say, receive the message, understand the message, hear the message.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to do this with our youth. When you think about it, if you, in this day and time, I wouldn't even go to a block party if somebody told me.
Me.
And we send peace and blessings to the families who lost their loved ones,
Mm-hmm.
those that are still fighting for their life, those that got hurt. I'm not trying to condemn them because stuff happens. Most of us go hoping to have a good time.
But first thing we should be doing is watching the news. This virus is killing us. And black people are at the top of the list. It wants our life. And so there are people saying they don't believe it. There are people that saying it's happening. There are people that's thinking about it. I've had it, and I know it exists. And the thing about it is I caught it in February. And because I know my body. And I kept saying to my husband, something is wrong. And if I feel like this in the morning, I'm going to the doctor. And I went to the doctor, and they gave me cough syrup. And when I went home and took that cough syrup, and it didn't do nothing, and I was still lay down and couldn't breathe, I sat up on my sofa all night, didn't have no taste buds. I didn't run a fever until the 4th day. And so now when I go in place, they talk about taking my fever. I'm like, listen, man, that's wonderful. But that don't work. That's not a good way to tell if somebody has that disease, because I've had it and I didn't get the fever till 4 days later. So if you asymptomatic and they running your fever and you don't have no fever, then when you sit here or with me, you're going to give it to me. And that's the thing that I tell, I'm not doing no 50 people. I love church. I love God. But I'm not going to church.
Well, this is what and I know a lot of people when they see that, I invite people into my home. My wife her immune system is very delicate, and I have a strong immune system. And what I do is I'm very cautious about touching people. I'm very cautious. We sterilize our house all the time. Most people that come in, you can see if you go into my kitchen, into my bathroom, they probably the two cleanest in the whole house. And I do respect the fact of the the disease. But this is what gets me. See, the confusion is here. And we saw this today. We see so many people, and I hate to say this, but if you just look around, we see so many white people are not wearing the mask. We wearing the mask, but they're saying we're getting it more than anybody else. So when you listen to the media sometimes confuse you the way that they portray us, even with the violence. So they want us to assume that this is just attacking black people. I don't believe that.
No, it's not just attacking us, but see, our problem is diabetes.
Exactly.
Obesity.
Right.
You know, all of those issues come in with us. See, white people got money. So, and even the trailer trash people that don't have money, you know, they might as well be black, because they're going to be treated just like the black people. But them ones that have money, they're going to get the best care. And just like, you look at the news and they be showing in hospitals in California, and like people of rank and stuff, how they always seem to come out. Everybody else to go through there, they did what they could, but they couldn't save them.
That's because they say, oh, they didn't have no insurance
Right.
or whatever.
That's why they couldn't save them. And that's why I'm just real cautious about a lot of things that I do. And for me, I get depressed real easy, because if I spend a lot of time trying to input into you and I feel like you're not hearing me, I'm not going to give up. But at the same time, it'll wear me down. And I've been in recovery for some years. And I don't care what the problem is, I'm not going to drink and drug for you. I'm not making that, I won't do that. But I sit back, and so I put it in a book.
Well, again, one of the things that I try to get people to understand, we need to educate yourself, but understand your body.
Yeah.
Even
Number
me.
one.
Yeah. I'm not really out of shape. My biggest problem is that, as a lot of people see, I like to smoke cigars. So I have bronchitis, and I know I ain't supposed.
Oh my!
Yeah.
And a cigar.
So
how did that work for you?
That's why, you know, I know that some people have certain things that they do, and I do that because that's my relaxation.
Right.
So, you know, I'll give me a little shot of some brandy or something and sit out and smoke me a cigar. And so I know that causes my bronchitis to kick up, but at the same time, I also eat healthy.
Right.
I also make sure I exercise. And the one thing that I'm saying with everybody, I'm not saying don't wear the mask. Wear the mask. I'm not saying do what you've been doing. Most of us have been washing our hands.
I wash my hands because as a child we were taught to wash.
Right.
So Trump did not teach me how to wash my hands.
We were doing this as a child.
Right.
The thing is that we just have to be more conscious about what. And this is what get me. Now check this out. I'll have more people will kind of be a little leery coming to my house, but they won't be leery going to a grocery store. At the grocery store, can you imagine how many people pick up an item
and put it back?
And
you know what? And I went to the store today and I watched this lady, and I know she must have picked up at least 5 different packs of pork chop. I told my husband we ain't have pork chop today.
But
so he said, "Well, what happened to the pork chop? We ain't had nothing today."
But this is where we're talking about how the media can have your mind go into different directions, and we got to be really careful. Okay, I see that Troy said solid guidelines were in place back then. Things like being in before the street lights came on, respecting your elders, taking charge of the neighborhood.
That's right.
People today have become complacent by allowing young adults and the youth. Okay, bring it back, baby. And, okay, it says, people today have become so complacent by allowing young adults and the youth of our communities to define our neighborhoods' characteristics.
That's right.
You know something? Hey, Troy, you're so right. See, one of the things that we have to do is we got to start building back on these personalities. So a lot of us, when we was coming up, we had grandparents that instilled things in us
Right.
to a point where they start to build our personality.
Right. So you knew.
So you knew.
Mm-hmm.
You bet not let nobody tell me that you was disrespecting Miss Martin or Mr. Jackson or Miss Rowland.
And it was everywhere you went, even in church. The ladies in church, my grandmother sung on the choir, and the usher would always come over there and nicely pull me out, and my grandmother would nicely see her, and she would nicely give me that look. Like when church was over, you know what's coming.
Or
like in church, it's God's house.
or grandma giving a nod saying, tell that
you can beat her.
Go ahead and whoop her
and
now.
it was okay.
And it was
Everybody
okay.
beat you.
It was okay.
I'm like, no.
Miss Lynn Nelson, good evening. How you doing there, little feet? We love you, baby.
We do.
It says, good evening. Hello, Kim and Rodney. I am so excited. Let me tell you, Kim, we had such a good time with you the other day. And you broke the record numbers. You're the first program that reached over 1,000 hits. And we just thank you, and we send glory and praise to you, and we continuously love you, my sweetheart. And you're just an amazing young lady. What we got there? Danielle, she says, hey, hope everyone day went well, totally. God is good. We above ground.
Yes, He is.
We above ground.
You woke up this morning, you good too.
Well, yeah, let me tell you something. This is how sometimes things can happen. Just before I share. He says, oh, you like my new specs? Hey, thank you, my brother. Let me tell you how this morning when I woke up, my energy was at a different level. And what happens is because I feel like I am responsible for putting my part out in the community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm responsible for sharing my growth.
Right.
And when I don't feel like I'm doing just that, I get in my feelings and I start to feel the pressure a little bit. Now today, prior to that, I was struggling because of course I needed my new glasses. And so that was one of the things that I was doing. I was like, okay, well, you know, they're gonna come, but anyway, that was long story short, we ended up getting them. But it was just some other energy that was going on that I had to pay attention to, and that was when I'm listening to the news and saw all the people running and all that. I was carrying that inside because I was like, we've got to make change. We have to make a change. We have to change what we're doing. We can't make this about us. I can't make this about me. This show is not about Rodney Grimes. Yes, it says live talk with Rodney Grimes. That live talk with is you. Rodney Grimes and you. Okay? We have to take these avenues so that we can get this information out. Kim, you write. That's how you get your information out. That's how you...
I write about it and I put it out. And the other thing that I was just thinking about, you know, maybe we need to start some type of mentorship in Old Town. Because it's a lot of kids having kids that just don't, they're not making the connection.
Yeah.
You know, because I know some kids that has no business with no kids. And then they're like 24 with 4 children.
Come on.
What are you going to teach 4 children when you're a child? 24, really?
Do you know that I didn't start really, everything didn't really start kicking in real hard until I was about 30 or 35. Then I started smelling myself a little bit and had to regroup because when I hit 50, that's when I knew that I did start to grow up for real. Right. Because I realized the things that I should be thankful for. So we got a lot of young people, you can't tell them nothing today, but they haven't experienced nothing. So they don't even know. And they didn't come up with what we had.
Exactly.
I saw the color TV come. I saw the microwave come. I saw the cassette come. It was 8-track tapes that we used to get hit
How
with.
about
Somebody
that?
An 8-track tape was big as a brick.
Flat screen. We had a Quasar and 9 brothers and sisters sitting around.
Yeah. Do you remember the
TV in your bedroom?
Come on. Take that time, Miss Zena. Could you go ahead and just welcome some people?
Good evening, everyone. We're going to welcome Harold S. Hughes. He says, big shout out to Real Talk. Kimberly Wilson Lynch, Karen Ward, Angela Hughes Taper, Kendra Bell, Troy and Desi. And Troy says, I see you, PTP. Love the glasses. Tracy Johnson, Danielle B. Duncan, Penny Taylor, Gerald McCoy, Rachel Pope, Don Jarrett, Sean Taylor, Joe Baltimore, Lynn Nelson, Sharon McDonald, Keisha L. Sanders, and Miss Lowe.
We welcome all of you, and please hit share. One of the things that it's just been amazing that I feel the growth. I feel the growth just when I see you. Me and Kim, we've been running to each other. We was wait a minute now. When we was doing the thing with Obama. Remember? And you was in there and we knew Dougie Fresh was coming. Now let me tell you.
Dougie Fresh was my boy.
So you
still got my picture.
Right. You was like, Rodney, take me back because I want to meet Dougie Fresh. And I said to you, oh, okay, no problem. But I ain't tell you that at the time I was just meeting them too, right? Hey, wait a minute, so you remember I took you?
Introduced me to that road. And the boy, why are you Dougie Fresh? That's not Dougie Fresh.
So I had my pants on and I took you back and I said, come on, I'm gonna take you. And so my man, he was like, he heard me.
He kept on playing like he was Dougie Fresh too.
And I was like,
he's not Dougie Fresh.
And he was like, that ain't Dougie Fresh. And I was like, well, he said he was. and so finally Dougie came in and he performed. We was back there. We had a good time. When we came in, we was with our girlfriend Barbara Jones. Who, shout out to Barbara. We love her so much, man. You talking another amazing person.
Yes, Lord, she is
truly
amazing.
Yeah, we was back there, but we had a good time.
We did.
And I don't know where we ended up at. We ended up somewhere that all of us was there. And I don't know if it was right after that, because it was just a lot of parties going on.
We ran into Stevie Wonder was there, Curtis Blow was there.
But Curtis Blow,
he was at the function we was at.
Yeah, but Curtis Blow came with us.
Right.
Curtis Blow came in with me, Zena, and Barbara. We had him with us. And then Biz Marquis was at the function.
Whole bunch of people
Slick Rick. We ended upstairs with Lorenzo Tate and Bell Bellamy. Yeah, I know. I get tongue tied. But it was a good time. And back then, when I saw you, I was so happy to see you because I knew we had a journey.
And we was on it.
And we was making moves. But what we were doing, we was taking what we had back then and using it now to change the way we're living. Let that be a lesson. Let that be a message. I don't put ourselves on no pedestal.
Because I done been knocked down 1,000 times and I'll constantly keep getting up. But this time, the last knockdown, I was knocked down. It just took so much out of me, and I had to literally hit rock bottom to find my way up. Yeah. And I still didn't find my way up by myself. Because when they locked me up and said 10 years, I spent the first 7 months praying to God. And I had to come to terms with myself that I put myself here. Because God had gave me every hint, everything. And I disregarded it.
That's one of the things that I think that where we make a lot of mistakes. Now I'm gonna tell you, I'm just very, very thankful because we hung out a lot when we were young.
Yes, we
I don't know if your mother's watching, but I love you, dear, because your mom was a sweetheart to me. She helped a lot of us out when we were running the streets. She allowed us to come in and she disciplined us and made sure that we stayed out of trouble. And it was a safe house for us.
It was a safe house.
But what happened with myself, because of my grandmother and the elders that I grew up with on Payne Street, the 500 block, I took everything they taught me, and I realized when I saw me going down the wrong path, I decided to go join the Marine Corps.
I did that one too.
Yeah, that's what Army. I know you did. That's what.
But I didn't mess up till I got out the Army.
So what caused the dilemma?
When I joined the military in '78, I quit school in 11th grade and went and took the GED because I was just fed up with the teachers, fed up with the people, fed up with life. And so I took the GED and passed it. Back then, when you take the GED, they could tell you in one day whether you passed or not. Wasn't nothing that we send you nothing in the mail. The next day they told me I passed it. I went straight to the recruiting officer. He promised me a nice vacation in Hawaii with this bathing suit and all this. And when I went and signed up and got to basic training, and had this little G-string bikini and long hair, long nails, that man said, "Oh, where you want me to send that to?" And I'm like, "Say that again?" And they sent me to Fort Jackson in the summer.
Oh,
I'm like, "Send what? Where?" He said, "First of all, you're going to have to do something with their hair because they can't touch a uniform." And I'm like, "Well, why would I be wearing a uniform on the beach?" Boy, I ain't see no beach. When I finally saw the beach, all I wanted to see was a way to kill them. That's all I could see. And I had to adjust, even in basic training, because I took my attitude in the military with me.
Yeah.
And when they start talking all rough to me, and I was like, "Who the hell do you think you talking to?" And the man got up in my face, and he got to talking, and spit got to flying, and I was like, "Lord, my mama can't get me out of this." And he made it clear, "You are the United States government property." And I signed up for 6 years right off the top. And they sent me from South Carolina to Georgia. I saw Hawaii like the 4th year. And when they told me one pack of cigarettes was $12, not that you buy them on post.
Well, let me tell you that I kind of same with me. I ended up going to night school to get my GED. I ended up going straight into the Marine Corps once I had finished my classes, and as soon as they found out that I had accomplished that, they was like, "Okay, well, this is what you want to do. You want to be going to South Carolina to the boot camp."
Fort Jackson.
No, I ain't. I was in South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so when I got there, I remember one letter I wrote my mother, and in the letter, it wasn't nothing in there but help. That's all I wrote.
No, that's all I could think when I lay down at night. And then on top of laying down, I said, "Now, I'm used to sharing room with girls because the family I grew up, my mama had 6 girls. We had 2 sets of bunk beds and 4 girls in the one room." But I'm like, this is like 20 women in here trying to run through 4 showers. And you got 15 minutes to do it because you gotta make formation. I'm like, "Lord, what did I do?" And I got out. And I gravitated to the wrong thing. But everybody that knows me knows that Cookie was my sister. And it was just nothing in the world that I wouldn't have done for her. And to this day, I still have good days and I still have bad days. And there are some days that I just cry uncontrollably because it's still hard for me to believe that she's actually gone. And I just think back that, listen, everything that I do from this point on is dedicated to her.
Yeah.
Because she was like Robin Hood.
Yeah.
She was a crack dealer that sold crack in Old Town all her life. And was so good at doing that and buying the food stamps and stuff. And then taking the people, same people she bought the food stamps from, taking them to the store and buying food for their kids.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "You're not a good drug dealer." You giving the people their money and stuff back. And it was just, I started smoking, and then that led to one thing, and before I knew it, I was selling crack. And I'm like, okay. And I met this girl when she was 15, and I was in my full swing of my addiction. And I tried to save her, and I realized once I got to jail, how was you going to save her when you couldn't save yourself?
So, let's stop there and just think about this. It may be someone out there who knows somebody who has an addiction, who's going through a process, and it may not be crack. It might be shooting dope. It might be drinking. It could be hard drugs from the doctor or whatever the case may be. But what I need you to know is you can beat it.
You can beat it.
You can beat it. You just got to come to a point where you
sick and tired of being sick and tired and ask for help.
And ask for help. And so when we do this, this is what I talk about: people to people, power to power, positive thing to people. Let me tell you something: people to people, that's me, you, and them. So people is those who's out there having problems, and then the other people like us who having the problems, and then we got them just having the problems.
That's right.
So we all are in the same boat in some kind of way. And then the power sometimes we don't even know we possess to be able to change your life, to make things better for yourself. What we have to do is take that power and turn it from a negative to a positive. And when you do that, you'll start to find that you can change the way you're living. You'll see your children changing as well. And what becomes out of all of that is positive thinking people. So what I'm saying is that if you're out there struggling with anything, know that you're not alone. Know that we have individuals like Kim who's been in these situations.
That's right.
And now you're an author.
And I'm an author that didn't want to be an author. While I was in jail, that same 15-year-old girl that I was trying to save, I called home one day and they said, you know, they found her dead. And that day on, I said, God, if you get me out of here, I will dedicate my life to trying to save young adults.
So let me ask you a question. Was the girl named Nikki?
No, the girl was Brenda.
So where did Nikki come from?
Well, the book, A Girl Called Nikki, is really a book that I wrote. And a lot of that book is my story. It's my life story.
Okay.
And I stole my sister had some dope on a dresser. And I took that dope thinking it was coke and got addicted to heroin. And that was also in that book called A Girl Called Nikki. And so there were some other things in that book about some other people that were trailing or with me in my addiction. And so I had to add other stuff in it to change it so I wouldn't be telling their story without their permission.
Right.
And so
that's something that a lot of us have stories to tell.
And I'm telling you, everybody has a story. I don't care how you got here, how long you've been here, or where you came from. There's a story, you know, and it starts with just writing. And that one book, I only wanted to write that one book, and I dedicated that book to Brenda. And I said, you know, and I prayed about that, and I said, you know, I'm just so sorry that I wasn't at my strongest. And she didn't meet me at a point in my life when I had just got out of the military, because I was at my best then. Mm-hmm. And you know, and it was nothing I could do at that point, because I was sitting in jail and had a 10-year sentence. And I'm like, and so God wanted my attention. And the only way he was going to get it was to sit me down, because I was running 100 miles an hour and I was running on air. And so when they came and they told me after 13 months, they said, you leaving here. And I'm like, I'm leaving where? Said to jail. And the first thing came to my mind, they're going to send me to state penitentiary. But here's the kicker. They sent me to the jail in Arlington. And when I first got there, all these women got to running around, they got to whispering, and they got to chatting, and Patty Carpenter was there, so she knew me real well. And when I got to that woman, she said, you know Cookie in here. So me and my sister was in the same jail.
Locked up at the same time.
At the same time. And the night that they were shipping her, the guard came to get me, to tell me that they were shipping her. And you know, I done read so many books and seen so many shows that when the guard came to get me, I was like, now I got to beat his ass. On top of everything else. And he like, shh. And you know, the first thing came to my mind, I ain't giving out nothing free. Right. This shit here about to get real good. And I ended up going down there, and there they had my sister packed and getting ready to ship her to state. I hollered and everything else. And she gave me all her stuff. And she said, you're going to be good, you're going to be okay. Just stay to yourself. I did cosmetology in school. And so I spent the next 6 months doing all of the jail people hair. So the day that they came, they said, you out of here. And you remember how many times we walked up and down West Street, you know, Second Genesis on the corner. We always wanted to know what's going on in that building. We always wanted to know. Yeah. Why they take me out of jail and drop me off at that building? I said, I didn't want to know what's going on in this building that bad. This way you're gonna be there for the next 6 months. When I went in there and they say this is therapeutic training for addiction,
Do you know that you don't see places like that too much?
they got rid of it.
You know, that's something else when we're talking about what's necessary in our neighborhoods. We have to start creating these things again.
Yeah.
We have to start these mentoring programs where we're going to be mentoring the youth. We got young people that are on drugs.
Yeah.
That don't have no way out.
That's just crazy. You know how many of them are ODing off of dope? I'm
Come
like,
on.
you 25 on dope?
Come on.
I was 25. The only thing I was thinking about was how I was gonna con this nigga out of his money. And it wasn't about no dope. It's to pay for them leather shoes I was gonna buy.
Well, one of the things that I've always, I always wanted to tell, and I would tell any drug dealer today, I say that you're a hell of a businessman or you're a hell of a businesswoman when you can convince somebody to put that stuff in their arm, when you can convince somebody to get on a drug that you know is addictive, and they constantly give you their hard-earned money. I tell them what you need to do is to come out of that situation and now realize that you can open up a laundromat or you can open up a little grocery store or something like that, and take that skill of being a person who know how to manage money and manage people and use it in the right way.
People don't think like that, because that one thing about quick money and fast money, even though all money ain't good money, when it's coming real fast like that, you can see those things you're talking about, but you don't ever reach for those things because the money get too big. And that was the thing with my sister. That had been nice. She would come to my house and we would count 30 grand like this with no problem. And I would see her the next day and she would be asking me to loan her $2,000.
Right.
Well, you done went somewhere and got robbed. Well, why would you be going out the house with 30 grand anyway if you wasn't going to a bank?
Right.
And so, I mean, you know, people, I know big time drug dealers with big money can't afford to even put gas in their car because you trick it off at night.
Well, see, but that's again when we're talking about changing the way we live
And think.
and the way we think.
And the way we think. Gotta change that way we thinking, because the way we thinking is so distorted that, you know, you really can't see. My first year clean, I've been clean 28 years, and my very first year clean was the hardest year. When I say hard, it was so hard because when I got out of treatment, I mean, I went back to the area. I lived in Maryland, but I had to keep going back to meetings in the area where I was from. So I was still seeing the people that I used to use with, and they would have the nerve to walk up to you knowing that, you know, you just got out of jail and stuff. You don't know what you ain't looking. You don't know where nothing. I mean, you was going right. So I had gotten to the point where I was just going to the meetings in Maryland because I ain't know nobody.
Well, also, let me take this time again for everyone who just joined in. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. People to people, power to power, positive thinking people. I am so blessed to have my childhood friend, Miss Kim. When back then it was Kim Parks, but it's now Kim Thornton, and she is an author. She is you publish books too as well.
I have 14 books published, and I'm working on a book called Retired, and I'm hoping to shop it for a movie theater.
Okay. So wait, it says, Lynn Nelson says, Kim, say that again. Good money is not all good money.
And that's the truth.
Well, what I'm trying to get people to understand too, we can always, my grandmother always told me you can take a negative and turn to a positive. That's the easiest thing to do. For real, you can always take a negative and turn to a positive. We have to look at what's really going on in our neighborhoods, what's going on in our house, what's going on in the community.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in Southeast affects me in Fort Washington.
Exactly.
What happens in Fort Washington affects me in Old Town of Alexandria.
That's right.
In Lorton, Woodbridge, Baltimore. We have to realize that we have to make these changes in how we are conducting ourselves.
Lead
Help
by example.
And build.
Yeah.
Let's build.
Lead by example. That's the thing Lenny Harris did that I like.
Yeah.
He always led by example. No matter what was going on, he led by example. And that's the best way to do business. If you can see me do this, then you can do it. I don't ask you to do nothing I can't do. And so if we come together as a whole and we start showing these people that it can be done, then they may get the concept. But if we just tell them, you know, go on Facebook, hey, y'all should try this, half the people ain't gonna see your post.
Yeah.
You got to get out there and do the groundwork, and that's where the problem comes in. A lot of people tired after they get off from work, but for me, I already know God has me here for a reason,
Yeah.
and I fulfill it.
I also, there's quite a few people that have been on the show bringing up Lenny. I always say this, I hope they understand when I said me and Lenny had a love-hate relationship. We didn't hate each other.
Right.
What we did is we actually motivated each other. Lenny was always a smooth brother.
Yes,
He was always had this charisma about him. And basically I thought I did too. So whenever I got around him, I felt like, you know, pump your chest up and walk tall so that he would see me as his equal. Okay? But really what it was happening, I didn't have to do that.
You
No,
didn't have to do that.
but no, let me explain. What was happening was he was making me be better.
Right. You be your best.
Right. He was pulling the best out of me.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, it was one time me and Zena, we was getting ready to, I had a show that was getting ready to go. And we was out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and we was going around putting flyers on the cars at night. So when people woke up, they would already be out there. And we ran into Lenny. And he was laughing. He was like, what you doing out this time of night? You remember that? But, and it was funny because he was probably out doing the same thing. And then when we realized that actually we had a show that was going to be on the same day, that's when I said we had that love-hate relationship, because we would look at each other and say, man, why you didn't call me? Why you didn't tell me? And it was almost that we were just trying to really, really do good things for the community. Let's take the time to go ahead and greet some people real quick, if we would.
Okay, Angela Gomez, Vicky Gray, my sister.
Hey, Vicky.
Lynn Thompson, Kelly Missy Carter, Paul Tyler, Kimberly A. Kors Milligan, Lorenzo Garvin, Michelle Till,
Michelle, I love you, baby.
Warnell Wesley, Regina Young. Hey, Regina.
Hey, Regina.
Alexis Galloway, Jerry Blake, Brenda Minnick. Hey, Brenda. Pamela Jones, Denise Lambert, Magda. Hey, Magda.
That's my cousin there. Pam, did you read my book?
Magda Redding, Patricia Tabor, is it Tabor or Tabor?
Tabor.
Liz Tabor, okay. Liz Ashton.
Hey, Liz, how you doing, love?
And that's it.
Hey, and I shout out to Jerry and Lorenzo. Hey, those are my homeboys. I appreciate the support. Let me say this for everyone that's joining in. Please hit share. Please share with different people about this program. This is not about me. This is about us. This is a platform for us to be able to network and get information out. Kim is a childhood friend of mine, and Kim is sharing her personal story with some of the things that she had to deal with growing up. And what I like is that she's not ashamed to speak the truth, and the truth will set you free. And also the truth will help other people realize the areas and the directions not to go, because you can tell them you've been there.
And done it, it don't work.
And so it's important for us to really, really take the opportunity to help each other. Let it not be a selfish thing. Let it not be just about you. Because what you do affects others.
That's right.
You know, if you're selling drugs in your neighborhood,
you're killing us.
You killing us.
And running the neighborhood down too.
And not only that, now what you're doing is you're attracting all that negativity to your area. Right. And see, we got to realize that it's up to us to make the change in our life. Just like when it comes to, we got to change the direction. Because it just came on my mind. When we talk about voting.
Right.
Let me tell you come on now, how important it is to vote. How important. We got to make the changes. We put people in positions to do that.
Right.
And see, if you don't take that opportunity to change things around you, if you keep doing the same thing, you keep getting the same results.
You'll get the same results.
So people want to know why you're still struggling, even with me. I'll give you a prime example. I know this, because I have a complex about it. I know I'm not supposed to smoke the cigars. I know that. If I don't want to have this problem with my bronchitis, what I have to do. I have to stop smoking. Okay, I'm not trying to put a cherry on top of the ice cream about that. I'm just trying to talk about the truth of it.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
So if you want to make change, if I don't want people to assume every time I cough that I got the virus, you the best. I'll be laughing. I'll cough and people be doing like this. But everybody know, all my family members. Well, I've had bronchitis for I got inhalers, and my wife normally tell me, she says, "Baby, before you go on the show, hit your inhaler."
Clear up some of that smoke.
So it's sometimes life can just be a little rough. Baby, you better go ahead and hurry and get that for it be ringing. So okay. Bernadette says Kim is a beautiful soul inside and out.
Thank you, Bernie.
Hey Bernie, I'm gonna get some turtles. So let me tell you. Let me tell y'all. I know Bernadette ain't gonna like this, but Bernadette used to live across the street from me. Now if we talking about knowing each other and being family. Of course, I knew all of them, so I had a crush on Bernadette, and so I tried to give Bernadette a turtle. So don't you be mad, Bernadette. Everybody probably hear that story, then you wonder why I always say something about that turtle. But I was crazy. I was crazy about Bernadette, and I wanted her to be my girlfriend, so I tried to give her a turtle. And so she always.
All things past a turtle.
So she
was real cheap. That's why you couldn't get no girlfriend. A turtle.
No, because back then, I couldn't even get a quarter for some ice cream. So I tried to give her the best thing I could. I had to do a turtle. I figured if I gave her that, she at least knows that I was going to give her something that was going to, change her life a little bit. So, hey, but Bernadette, hey, I send you peace and blessings, my love, and I always love you, always, because you're a good lady. And so I hope you ain't mad at me about me sharing that turtle story. But again, Kim, I'm very, very proud of you. I know that you've been through some trials and tribulations. You've done things that a lot of people weren't aware of, and some were. But look at you now. You're an author.
It's all God's grace.
Come on now.
All God's grace. I can't even take credit for it because it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I really just wanted to tell my story and let that be it. I wrote a book called From the Streets to the Church, and it talks about my two sisters and me. And so on the back of the book, the synopsis say a crackhead. It says a dope fiend, a dope dealer, and a crackhead. And that's Cookie, Lulu, and me. So a lot of these people that's on here know the other two sisters. And so when my family saw that book, oh Lord, oh, they was done. They like, oh no, why did you write that book? I'm like, my mom has 2 sets of kids. My mother has 9 children. There are 4 older ones, and then there are 5 younger ones. So the separation in between the 4 and the 5 is 3 years. So the ones that are 12 and 13 years younger than me and Cookie, they have no clue about what we went through.
Come on now.
Because they weren't here. Right. And then when they got here, by the time, my sister Lulu, you remember her?
Yeah.
Lulu shot dope from sun up to sundown and would fight up on Queen Street all the time. Yeah. Cookie sold drugs. I smoked as much crack as I could. But they died after they gave their life to Christ.
What happened to your brother?
He in Ohio, and the other one in Richmond.
Okay.
But I mean, we all grew up in church, went to the street, did our thing in the street, and then after we got our knocks in the head and stuff, we turned that life over to God. I'm the only one out of the 3 to tell the story because the other 2 is dead.
So let me say this too. This is about encouraging you to take the opportunity to share your story. I'm going to do a shout out to William Pinky Slade, who's going to be a guest on the show. He's written a book of poetry. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I wanted to shout that out, I want to tell people, just like Kim, don't be afraid to share. You have a story, share it. I have a book called 504 Payne Street. And I grew up on the 500 block of Payne Street, P-A-Y-N-E. But my book, it says 504 Payne Street, and it's P-A-I-N. Okay? And nobody knows the struggles that went on in my household that was so devastating for us. And for us to be where we are today.
Exactly.
I got to get back to working on the book because that's going to be a powerful story as well because, you know, I have my sister Kathy, Kim, and Vita, and my brother Glenn. Now, I'm not going to talk about their part and how it may have affected their life, but I know what it did to me. And I know I had struggles with, I had things I had to deal with, you see. And when we share these stories, then there's other people who will be able to relate to it and be able to say, you know something, I understand. I understand. Now, when I say that, because I had one of my neighbors came up and said, you know what, man, I know the struggle that y'all went through, but look at how y'all turned out.
You all made it out.
We made it out. And he said, I remember the police at your house all the time. I remember those struggles. But look at y'all. So my point is sharing that, and that's why you want to share your story, is people out there that's going through these things who think that they are alone.
They all by themselves and they're not. I'm telling you,
yeah, come
we
on.
had the fox in the hen house. I'm telling you, and that's why when I wrote that story, I said, well, wait a minute, everybody knows Cookie from the street, but they don't know the real Cookie. And I'm so tired of people walking up to me saying, you know, telling me about my sister. I'm going to tell them about my sister, you know. And I wrote in the book, and I told the truth. You know, I remember that one day when I went, and my grandfather gave me a quarter to go to the store. You know, you can get a whole bunch of candy for the quarter, because back then it didn't cost for 2 cents.
Right.
And I'm like, well, why didn't she come and go to the store with me? And I said my grandfather was Chester molester. And my family, I'm like, hey, you guys, we grew up in the 60s sweeping stuff under the rug.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to pull the rug all the way up off the floor for this century. Because I refuse to be a victim. I refuse to let that happen to anybody else in my family and any of that. You know, I was molested at 11 years old, and I never respected adults from that point on. And that's why I had so much trouble in school. The school want to call my mom and Judge Panko, and you want to send me to mental health and all these places. You want me to see a psychiatrist. Well, why don't y'all take time out and ask me what's wrong with me and why am I acting out? And when I tried to tell them why I was acting out, they kept on trying to look at my past behavior. But let's start where my past behavior started at. When my uncle was showing me how to grow breasts. Let's start right there. I said when I tried to tell the grown-up that was supposed to care for me and they didn't do their part, okay, so now I become the grown-up for me.
Right.
I could cuss like Papa the Sailor do that one. I remember Mr. Osasak and Mr. Jackson and Miss Kwanda. They used to whoop me so bad that y'all used to whoop me and give me orange juice while I wait for my mama to come up there to whoop me again.
Now, and you mentioned somebody.
She said, are y'all for real?
You mentioned somebody that I had the opportunity to sit in front of on several times too, Judge Panko. Judge Panko was a white old lady that did not play.
No wooden knuckles.
And let me tell you something.
None.
She and Judge Panko wasn't prejudiced.
With nobody.
She didn't care who you were.
And she told you that when you walked
in there. She said, I don't care nothing about your mother. I don't care about where you came from. But when you come up in here, you're in my courtroom, and you want to do what I tell you. I remember when, I can't say, man, my mom was up in there with me. And I had did something very, very bad. And Judge Panko said, Ms. Grimes, if he come back in here one more time, I'm gonna lock you up. my mama made it clear.
Really clear.
One more thing. She said when we walked out there, she said, I can tell you what. The next time the police be chasing you, you better run right on to the jail and tell them don't even call me because I'm not. Because if that's the life that you choose, then you're gonna have to live it. But let me say this. This is all about us, and we're not bragging about these things. We're talking about the truth. Yvette says sharing your stories can certainly uplift others who can relate to your situations.
And that's the reason I do it.
That's why I don't feel bad when I share that. Stephanie Johnson. Hey Kim, I would love to read your book. I had the privilege of growing up around Kim.
Next
Lulu,
door.
Cookie,
Next door.
overseeing,
On
and
Queen Street.
other relatives on Queen Street.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to tell.
Hey, Stephanie.
I was trying to tell my wife about Queen Street in Old Town Alexandria. People didn't know that was like Harlem, living in Harlem Nights.
Gerald.
Gerald said, how did your writing keep you inspired to keep writing amidst your everyday challenges?
I listen to gospel music when I write, and it's a thing about gospel music that makes me feel closer to God, and I feel like I can let all the barriers down because I'm protected by Him. And so I can put it all right on paper, and I know that God sees it, and I know I'm putting it here, and so I don't really care what nobody else thinks. So it's my life story, so I can put it wherever I want to.
Yeah.
And so those are the challenges that I faced as a child coming up. My family, they still mad with me because I talk about it all the time. And it's just time to talk about it because as an adult, it has impacted my life as a teenager. It impacted my life as a young adult. And it impacted my life as an adult. Now I've been with my husband for 25 years, but we still have our ups and downs, and I can still go back to that raunchy Kim Park some days too. You know, and he'd be like, "Who the hell is that?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Don't worry, that's that other alter ego person. You know, don't worry, she'll fade out in a minute." But you know, cause she's still there. But God and prayer and the new mercies that He give me every day help me keep her suppressed it. And so this is how I live every day.
Well, one of the things that I want to share. Hold on, Hillary.
Hey,
Hillary, how you doing, baby? Yes, Kim. Kim is beautiful inside and out. That's beautiful. That is for sure for all of us that know Kim. I've known Kim and seen her.
Commons and everything else.
I lived right around the corner from her. I hung out over at her house. And I had the opportunity to experience some of the things she did as well. Lynn Nelson said, Kim is the real deal. I love my sister friend. I would tear her phone up. She said, call me anytime and mean it. Love her.
I love you too, Lynn, and you know you can call anytime.
And Lynn, I'm the same way. I ain't gonna let nobody outdo me with you. We fighting over Lynn. But God is good, and we just have to know that, you know, when a person share their story, don't use it against them. Mm-hmm. Take it and work from it and use it to something. When you was talking about being molested at how old were you?
11.
And when you went to tell somebody, they looked at you as if you was just...
I told my mom, and I think the theme was, my mother is the oldest of 14 children, but my grandmother had 2 children that died, so that makes her the oldest of 12. And so she took the role to take care of her brothers and sisters. And then she ended up with 9 children of her own, so it could have just been, it was just too overwhelming for her.
Right.
But I still think there was a different way to handle it, you know. And then for you to send me company, to keep me company, and it wasn't my brother, it was my little sister. So now I gotta worry about this man trying to bother her. Yeah. So now the one sheet that they give me to sleep on, I gotta wrap her up in it to make sure he can't touch her. So by that time, I had just said, okay, since his wife she thinks that I'm lying, my mother thinks I'm lying. When I stab him, they'll know I ain't lying.
But let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. I don't tell people's business and put their name out, but I can tell the story, and this is some truth. So I dated this girl, and one day she was telling me that her and her sister would go to sleep, and her uncle would sneak into the room and fondle them under the sheets. And so said that this would go on for a minute, right? And so finally, I believe, if I'm telling this story correctly, I think that they told their mom. And when they told a few people, a lot of them didn't believe this was going on. Well, one day, the mother caught her and shot her. Now, but this is after the act has
After,
already
right, and she
taken
had
place.
already told him about
And she had
it.
already told him about it, but the mom, so my point that I wanted to get out of sharing that story, if your kid come and tell you that, Uncle Kevin, he liked to hug me a lot, pay attention to it.
That's right.
Pay attention.
That's right.
Because with these guys and women, I know a girl who was molested by her cousin, another female.
But this happens all the time. The problem is people believe it's easier to sweep it under the rug than it is to do something about it. And when you don't do anything about it, all it does is it messes up the child that it's happening to. And then when they get older and they don't pay attention to their children, so the cycle don't break. It just keeps happening. And I had a son and a daughter. And the first establishment me and my daughter got when she was able to understand is, if you sit on somebody's lap and it's not mine, me and you gonna have some problems.
Right. But that's what I remember one time when my daughter, she was about 5, 6 years old, and she was living with her mom, and I came into the apartment, and they had some dude in there. I don't know where he was from. He was Pakistan or something. I don't know what he was. Mm-hmm. But anyway, he had my daughter sitting on his lap, and he was just jumping. And I went right in, and they thought that I was tripping. I went right in and I grabbed him. I said, dude, what the hell wrong with you? And took my daughter. I said, don't you ever put my daughter on your lap. And everybody in the house was looking at me like, Rodney came here? No. Let me tell you something. Men, no. Now, my granddaughters, they come, they jump on granddaddy, they hug me, and even I be conscious of how I hold them.
That's right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. But I don't want to see nobody holding on to my granddaughter. I don't want to see my
I don't allow them to tickle my grandbaby,
right,
or none of that. You want to play with my granddaughter, you play with her from over there, and she gonna stand right here.
Well, one of the things,
throw a ball or something.
Right.
When you're doing that other stuff.
One of the things that we have to do.
Don't do it. I know.
We have to pay attention to
right.
our surroundings, and we have to pay. So, in your book that you wrote, you said so it was.
From the street to the church. It's about a dope fiend, a dope dealer, and a crackhead, Cookie, Lulu, and me. And it talks about what made us take those roads.
Right.
You know, because we grew up in Arlene Church, and every Sunday we was there. And it was like, my grandfather molested Cookie, so that made her do whatever, you know, and gravitate to white people. And white people back then had the power, so they smoked weed, and weed turned into coke, and coke turned into crack. Lulu came from West Virginia, and she was so bad down there that they sent her to live with her father, which was our stepfather. And she started hanging out with the people uptown. She learned how to shoot dope. And then I came out of the military trying to keep up with Cookie, and I learned how to smoke crack. Stealing her coat, thinking it was coke, it was heroin. I got addicted to that. And so, in the end, we all ended up back in church. Mm-hmm. Lulu gave her life to Christ, and she died 5 years later. Cookie gave her life to Christ. She died 2 years later. And I gave my life to Christ, and I prayed all day, every day.
Gwen said, Kim, you were always cool people. Would love to read your book.
Hey, boo-boo.
I know that's right. And Denise, she says, hey, Kim, Rodney, Judge Panko, wow, she didn't play. This is Denise Archer. Hey, Denise Archer, how you doing, baby? And you know, Judge Panko did not play. Many of us had to go see her.
Denise Archer didn't know. Do you remember when I ran through that window with the white girl, Tracy Whitehead, Parker Gray, and went to Miss Panko? And I told Miss Panko, if you spit on me, I'll do it to you. And she did the bell just like this. And they came and locked me right up in the floor. They locked me up. I was 15.
Kimmy Kim says, sharing your personal truth is a superpower. I thank God for Kim's obedience to sharing with the people of God's kingdom.
Hey, Kim.
Hey, Kim. Hey, we got that number. We calling you.
You coming?
Yeah, we got to get you on here too. You know, that's what it's all about, sharing the truth. And that's why I call it real talk.
Yeah.
You know, we not coming here to fabricate things. You know, if I could get some of my celebrity friends to come on here, I don't know if a lot of them would tell the truth. I don't know if they would talk about those things because they're at this level where,
people gonna look at it. But
right.
Guess what? They can look at me inside out, because if I keep it inside, it's gonna kill me. And if I don't share it, nobody else is gonna, be able to gain from it. You know,
Yeah.
I hang out with people that are going to accept me for who I am, not what I have, who I am.
Right.
Because if you're looking for what I have, what you see is what you get.
Well,
That's all it is.
Again, I just take every day as a blessing, and I
You
take.
got one calling yeah, everybody on this thing.
Yeah. Gwen, another one. I ain't gonna tell. I ain't gonna talk about it, Gwen. I ain't gonna talk about it.
You got everybody up on here.
Hey, but I can tell you, Angela. She says, yes, we must pay attention to our
Children
and our
surroundings.
children's surroundings. It makes my skin crawl to see kids sitting, baby,
On
baby, it
people's
jump,
laps.
it jump. Is that what it's? No, it jump. Oh, okay. It says it makes my skin crawl to see kids sitting on grown folks' lap,
Boys
or girls.
I'm with that too. I don't play
Right.
that.
First of all, you know you gotta be respectful. I don't care who child it is. If they come and they jumping on me and hugging on me, you know what I do is I lay back. I say I get them off. I know how to get them off me. When I see a person that's all the time hugging on a kid,
I don't like that.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention
I
to
like
it. Something ain't good about that.
I don't like it.
Let's take a moment and welcome some other people.
I wanted to tell Denise, my books are all on Amazon.com under Arthur K.L. Davis. You can see all my books are there.
Okay, and please we need to purchase her books, and we need to support each other. This is what this is all about, us moving forward. Let me tell you something. This is real talk for us. This is our opportunity. This is a voice for any one of you that have a story that you want to tell. Get in touch with me. This is what it's a platform for us to share our stories, to change the lives of others. I think that we should take the responsibility and say that I am my brother and my sister's keeper.
Yes,
See, because you gotta know this ain't just about me. This ain't just about you. We gotta take it.
Right.
You said, you know what? Me and Lynn, we've been talking about this. Tracy, who's going to be, she'll be the co-host. We've been talking about some other things, and you know we talk, and we're gonna powerhouse on some other things, because I think that what's getting ready to happen is we take this opportunity. God is trying to open up our mind.
Mm-hmm.
Let us start to form together a platform that we can have, where we can bring children in to sit down and hear our stories, that they can see that we have stories to share with them to help them find the right directions to go.
That's right.
Instead of letting them go to a block party where 400-500 people gonna be there, and liquor and drugs and all this is all over the place, and you expect nothing to happen?
Really?
Come on, the police should have been there in the beginning.
No, when they got there, they said that there was so many. They didn't expect that many people, and so when they got there, it was so many that they couldn't do nothing. And then when it happened, everybody just got to running, ramping over top of people and stuff. I'm like, no.
Well, have people thought about this? Have people thought about this? That a lot of times things are done intentionally. Okay, see, sometimes we thinking you got to pay attention. Even when we was marching, Black Lives Matter, and I'm gonna speak about that too. Black lives got to still be part of the conversation.
Yep.
Because this is a product of what's going on.
Yes, it is.
In our neighborhoods. We cannot allow. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't want no block party in my neighborhood. You can have a cookout in your backyard and a few people, that's fine. But you talking about a block party where anybody can come?
people.
Oh no.
No, I'm not. My house ain't gonna hold no 700 people.
But I'm just saying, when you do things like that in this day and time, and it's so easy to get guns and things like that, you don't want to have your kid. I would tell my child right there, you already know you should not be down there.
Right. And that's exactly that. And if, like, again, you lead by example. If you're not there and you didn't go, then your children should definitely know that they shouldn't be there. And that's how that works.
One of the things that people growing up, and this is a lot of people, they always thought I was a little weird here and there because I was quiet, but I was into things. But
you was messy, you're sneaky.
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't need a whole crowd of people to solidify who I was. You know what I'm saying? And I can sit here today. It was a few guys that didn't like me, but they knew not to hit me. They knew not to touch me because I'm not that type of dude. I'm not going to hit you, but I ain't going to let you hit me. I'm not going to steal for you. I'm not going to let you steal from me. I always made my own way. Okay? all of y'all mothers love Rodney.
I mean, but just think, we used to walk to school up Queen Street to Payne Street, stop, get Chucky, go on down there, pick you up, go to June Willis next door,
come on,
keep on going, and we all walk to Charles using the same, we walk back there,
the same
drop
way.
them off the same way. I mean, we did that for years.
Yes.
And that's why I'm like, don't forget to get the Blakes off the corner, get Maureen them on the way down the corner.
I mean,
They talk about school buses.
Come on, we ain't no school bus. What was a school bus?
And you was never late coming home. How about that one?
And if it was a fight, believe it, and they would fight right there. The next day, they walk into school, the two that was fighting.
Right, Shin, whatever y'all had. Yeah,
a whole different type.
But those days are the days we need to try to bring some of them days back. Nowadays, if you get in an argument, they whip out a gun. If you kill me today, you can't see me tomorrow.
And not only that, if you kill me today, they gonna lock your butt up.
Yeah.
And they gonna lock you up for a long time. And let me tell you something. If you want to talk about slavery, all that is just a
free labor.
Free labor.
You know how many heads I did in that jail in just the 6 months I was there? I'm like, look, I don't even know y'all. Half of y'all I don't even like. But just to get out of the cell, I did hair.
Right.
And I did it like 8 hours a day. They didn't pay me. I just did the hair.
Right. But see,
like free labor.
See, one of the things that we have to do is take our stories and let them help people on their journey. Let people know. You know, I'm proud of you that you don't have a problem with telling about your drug use, or that you was incarcerated, or even that you went into the military and you came home and these things took place. I'm proud of you that you're a woman enough to sit and talk about it. You know, it's quite a few of us that have stories that we're ashamed to tell the truth, but the truth will set you free. See, people don't know that your story can be the key to open up the door for somebody else to have that freedom to be able to tell what is going on. Some people out there who are seeing this right now and afraid to talk about it. People being molested. People out here on drugs. People out here don't have jobs. People out here don't have food. People are dealing with depression. People out here are going through these struggles. Let me tell you something. It is your responsibility. It is your responsibility to do what's necessary to support them and to help them find their way.
If you can help them, help them.
Yes, because you know something? You never know. That same hand that you would step over or step on will be the hand that will be lifting you up.
That's right. And that's a fact. That is a fact there.
So,
and I did this with, Facebook, and I was like, if there's somebody out there that needs food or something, inbox me. I'll drop it off. You ain't got to see me. I don't have no problem with it.
So
that's just who I am. I eat every day.
Let's get back to when people want to get a hold of your books.
You can go to Amazon.com, and actually you can call 571-552-8216, and you can reach me all day, every day, and you can get books that way too.
And we need to support each other with this, these different avenues. I ask people with the program. I'm asking you. I need you. Let me tell you. I keep bringing this up. Brandy Wallace. She was a young lady I had on the show. I got to get her back on here when I get a chance, because I would love to get her in person.
Was she the college student?
No. She was a prophet. She's a prophet.
Oh, okay.
And Brandy was talking, and Brandy said something that was so positive and powerful for me when she said, I need people. You need people. We need to buy your book.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Don't envy her. Don't be mad at her. Don't be jealous, or don't be saying she don't deserve it. What we do is we allow you to succeed, that we will have our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, to see this woman went through these challenges in her life and succeeded. And that's what's so important.
And she reached back for the people that's still back. Because that's the one thing I do believe in, is giving back.
Well, that's what's important. We have to make sure we give back to the community. We have to make sure that we come back and don't, walk around. Me, a lot of times, people didn't know this, we went through some struggles in my home. My father was an alcoholic. My father was very, very aggressive. He never molested nobody, but my father used to beat my mother up a lot and beat on my brother and beat on me and and not all of my sisters, but you know, we went through a lot. And a lot of people didn't know that when I was coming to school, I was having these migraines and I was going through all these trials and tribulations in my personal self, that I didn't have nobody that I felt I couldn't tell nobody. People didn't know that a couple of my best friends, Roscoe Ellison, who is deceased, and Walter Turner, who we call Jib, those was my best friends, and Poochie Lawhorn. We was planning on killing my dad because he was beating on us like that. And people didn't know that, you know, I remember one time I came home from school and there was blood all over the wall in my house. And I came in and I thought my mother was dead. I thought he had killed my mom. And I went running to my grandmother. And I ran around and I said, Grandma, he done killed her, he killed her. And Grandma said, killed who? I said, Mama. He said, no, he ain't killed your mama. Your mama in jail right now. She busted him in the head. And I was like, whoa.
She got tired of that. That's why to this day I sleep with a lamp beside the bed. You good sturdy one?
Yeah, well, the story didn't kind of, she told me a little different than that. But what had happened, my father had tried to jump on my mom and she was defending herself. And so she ended up busting him in the head. And the police, they came and got my mom. She came right home. She didn't stay locked up or nothing like that. But I just, the fact is that a lot of people didn't know we was going through that. Now people
never knew that.
Yeah, but people on Payne Street, they knew it. They grew up with me.
Willis
and the Atkins and the Figgins and the Wallace.
And I was gonna say Flick across the street.
The Johnsons.
Right.
Yeah, all of them knew that. They knew what we was going through in that house. They knew. You want to welcome some more people?
Jackie Unique Brown Dickerson, Yvette Gardner, Stephanie Johnson, Freddie Ward, Adrian Stubblefield Haley, Michael Elvins, Felicia Harrison, Stephanie Johnson, Hilda Davis, Gwen Garvin, Juan Shepard, Dewan, what's your cousin?
That's my cousin.
That's
Yeah.
the one in my house.
Yeah, that's my cousin.
Suge and your
Yeah.
cousin. Suge.
Kimmy Kim, Gwen Williams, Denise Lambert, Frankie Hayes, Ronald Henry, James Wood, Bonnie Holloman, Donald M. Jones, Bridget Brown, Deborah Johnson Harris.
Well, hey, we welcome everyone who joined in. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. People to people, power to power, positive people. My guest is Miss Kim Park Thornton. We know Kim as Kim Parks, but she is now Miss Thornton, and she is a publisher of several books. She has a publishing company. Basically, well, I'm sure that if you are interested in getting your book published, to get in touch with her, and she will help you.
I most certainly will.
I will do a shout out to I said it a little earlier, William Pinky Slate, he has a poetry book that we're going to have him on. He's coming up. He's going to be talking about. And if you have a book out there that you want to share and get some information about, please get in touch with me. You can do so pretty much while we're on the show, or you can call 301-793-7342, 301-793-7342, and we will get you information and we'll do what we can do. Let me tell you something, the process of where we are right now, we are growing. We had the opportunity the other day to honor Miss Lynn Nelson,
Yes.
who is a serious advocate in
Yes, she is.
you know, our community. We all mentioned Lenny Harris. If Lenny Harris was alive today, believe me, he would have probably been one of the first I had. He'd have been sitting right here. I had his brother Harold on here. Maybe one day I can get Lenny's wife to come on, Deborah, to come on and talk about, you know, some of the things that she had to deal with, you know, during that time. But what I'm saying is that let us come together and use this platform. When you see me put my information out there, we're building.
Right.
Okay? Kim, you see what this setup is.
Yeah.
I have lights, camera, action up in here. But you know something? It costs funds
Yes,
to get
it
it
does.
done. To get it where we need to operate. Your books, we need to purchase them. So it's important for us to buy your books.
No, Angie.
What she say? Kim, did I ever pay you for that book?
No.
Listen. That is so important for us. Go ahead. It says, this is a beautiful sister right here, inside and out. Praise God for Kim.
Thanks, Bridget.
Hey, you know what? One of the things that I always liked about you, Kim, and that was that Kim ain't never bite her tongue.
At all.
we be all sitting up and stuff, and Kim would just say whatever she had. Bridget, she said her books are phenomenal. That is so cool. And Bernadette says, yes, they are very
I am so glad you guys are enjoying my books, but you got to keep listening out for the new ones that are coming, because they are really going to be good.
Well, you know what? It's real powerful that you are able to share your story, and we just love that you are not afraid to speak the truth, and people have to know. You know, a lot of y'all have been out there that done experienced some of the things that Kim has experienced. I know you may not be ready to share your story, but know that you're not alone.
Exactly.
Know that you're not at fault. Okay. A lot of people didn't know what I was going through in my household. People didn't know that my father was as aggressive as he was. I mean, one day I'm going to talk about that and let people know, yo, this ain't no joke. When I was telling my wife some of my experiences, then my wife started to understand why I was the way I was. Some of the habits that I had, some of the things that I do, why. And it's still, I'm 60 years old, and some of those things that happened then still affects me now.
And I'm getting ready to be 60, and I'm still affected, and I just pray. I mean, I stay prayed up, because that's all I know to do, and that's the one thing I know that works every time.
Yes.
I mean, anytime I pray, I don't even wonder if God hears me, because I know He hears me. And I can tell by the way the things manifest that He heard me.
Right. That's what we got to do. Okay. Yes, that will be great, and we discuss something. Deborah Harris, One Love Festival. I know. Hey, Lynn, you keep throwing that out there.
Okay, Angie.
And Angela she said, okay, I got you.
That's what she said to me last time she seen me.
When was that?
Last year.
Hey, you think Angie, she tried to throw you out there.
I'm going to see you, Angie.
So what are the prices of your books?
I sell my books online. I sell them online. Some of them are $5.99, some of them are $4.99, but I sell them for $10 if you get them from me.
Okay. What I want to do, matter of fact, so.
I got you.
No. What I want you to do, okay. I'm trying to find.
We are definitely more like Bridget.
Okay. I can do this right here. So you said 10 and 5 or 10, right?
If you get them from me, they're $10. If you buy them online, if she orders it online and it comes to her computer where she can read it off the computer, it's like for $4.99.
Okay, hold on. So, Angie, you didn't pay Kim for her book. So, here goes.
She said in church we didn't have change.
Okay. So, Angie,
right.
You see this? I'm paying Kim for your book.
He paid for your book, Angie.
Okay, now I'm also, I'm paying for a book for the first person to say I want it. So I'm paying for one of Kim's books right now. So somebody got to type on there, I want it, and we got to figure out how to get it to you. So Kim, this is another.
They're going to have to inbox me the information.
Okay, so
how are you going to see it?
Hopefully it's Kimmy Kim. Kimmy Kim.
I know that's right.
Kimmy Kim, you got it, baby. All right, so please, Kimmy Kim, tell Kimmy Kim how to get her book.
Kim, inbox me your phone number.
Okay, that's what you do, Kimmy Kim. So your book is paid for, and Angie, I just paid for your book, so you don't owe. When you see Kim, you say, I'm paid in full.
Bridget, I see you, Bridget.
What'd she say? Yes, Lord, we are more alike than different.
We are
God
definitely more alike.
is an awesome God. How about that? That's what a lot of us got to realize. We all have our trials and tribulations that are so similar. Oh, hey, Bernadette, I got to see if I got some more money, because I'm still trying to get Bernadette to like me And
you ain't gonna give her no turtle. You gonna actually give her a book.
Well,
Bernadette, I'm gonna give you a free book so you can like him. Inbox me your phone number.
Okay, hey Bernadette, so I'm still on your good foot. So you just realized that Bernadette now got a book coming too. So please,
I love you too, Bridget.
keep doing it. I know it. Hey, I just love this. One of the things that we've been asking people to do is we talking about help me to build this program. What I want to do is things like this. I'm going to keep on. Kim didn't ask for no money. Kim always trying to bless people, but we got to bless you. And that's what we got to get out of that point where you know what? It costs for you to be able to try to put these books together. Angie said, I'm going to pay her and buy the next one. Angie, I just paid for you.
He paid for one. He paid for your old book.
Angie, I paid for your old book, baby, so you don't have to worry about it. I just paid for it for you. So when you see Kim, she can't talk no smack to you.
Kim said, yeah, she got quick fingers. I got you, Kim.
Okay, so, hey, know this. Really, please make sure that you do it. Say, I'll buy the ones I don't have. Kim, inbox me your number. Thanks.
I will.
Hey, it's my pleasure. So this is what we do. This is what we do. Let's learn how to start to build each other. You know what I'm saying? I promise you, you're gonna see this. You know why I did that? Let me tell you why.
Kimmy, thank your husband because I just saved him $10.
Jamie said, thanks for saving him. That's not a problem. Hey Kim, you just won the first. You was the first one to say it, so you won that book, and I hope you enjoyed it. And please share with us once you read it. And
don't forget to leave the review on Amazon.
Right, that's what we got to do. See, we got to get to we start to learn how to do that. See, this is how your books are going to be
leave
moving forward.
Review on Amazon.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take those opportunities to make sure that we start to support each other. So look, it's almost shutdown time. It's Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, people to people, power to power, positive to people. God is good.
Yes,
and I just thank him. But what we're going to do before we close out, I want you to have the last word and just give some people to inspire them.
Let me first thank you all for tuning in to the show, and I would like to say that keep God first, and regardless of what's going on or how you're feeling, if you feel down, you can always call me at 571-552-8216. But say a prayer. I mean, praying always works. It never fails. If you pray, pray. That's the best thing to do. And you can find my books on Amazon at Author K.L. Davis, and I have 14 of them and 2 new ones on the way out.
So, with that said, this is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, people to people, power to power, positive people. Let us continue to show we care by hitting the share. Go to Facebook, go to YouTube, subscribe. Let's get them numbers. Let's get this program to a level where we're going to be able to just keep moving forward and support one another. I love you. Peace and blessings to you. I tell you, that was good.